Hello, hello, everyone. Hello, welcome to Intentional Tuesday. I am Cedric Ballard, and this is
Kimberly Ballard.
It is good to see and talk and I guess experience you all another week. It's been a few weeks. Excuse our absence. It's been a lot going on, a lot happening. No excuses, but we're back.
We're back.
And hopefully you had a great month of April so far. We had a lot going on in April, feels like. So been a lot happening in April, a lot of great things that's been happening in the month of April. And I pray that you've had a successful, blessed, abundant April. All right. So if in fact you're on right here, please let us know who you are. Let us know where you're coming in from. Let us know what city and state you're in. We would love to know exactly, who we're talking to, who we're communicating with. This is Intentional Tuesday. We just have just regular conversation, trying to have practical conversations about different things that that are possibly on my mind or on Kimberly's mind, or just what's going on in the world or things like that, or just trying to be inspirational to make sure that we encourage and uplift,
Yes,
and even enlighten somebody that needs that in what they're dealing with, what they're going through. So whatever that may be, whoever that may be, come on in. Let us know who you are. Let us know where you're coming in from, and we would love, love, love to hear from you, man. It is exciting to know that God is continuing to bless. He's continuing to keep us, and He's continuing to make a way.
yes.
So we're on Instagram, YouTube, and we're on Facebook every Tuesday. Every Tuesday. And we're also on It's All Gospel. It's All Gospel, 7 p.m. every Tuesday, 7 p.m. Central Standard Time on itsallgospel.com. That is an internet radio station that we're on. And we would love for you to listen to some of the things that we talk about on itsallgospel.com.
Now today we have TikTok on with us today. So we want to say hello to our TikTok family.
Um, Hi. So basically, I want to make sure that we understand exactly what it is that we are doing, man. Like I said, the goal is to continue to inspire, to encourage, to uplift, to enlighten, to make sure that we are sharing with people that really, really, really understand kind of where we're coming from. Had some interesting conversations over the weekend about some things that were going on in the world. Now, let me give some foundation to this. I'm born and raised in the church, born and raised in the church. Church is what I know, church is what I've done. It's not to say that I haven't done other things in the world, but the majority of my life has been in the church. So a lot of my reference is from a standpoint of church. Notice I said church, not religion or relationship. They're not, they don't go hand in hand. Church and religion, relationship, and knowing God is something altogether different. But my point of reference, a lot of times, I don't care what we can talk about. We can talk about any and everything. Most of my point of references are going to be about, it's going to come from a standpoint of church, religion, church, things that I grew up knowing, I grew up hearing, I grew up listening to, thought processes that were ingrained and indoctrinated in me from a young kid that I've learned and just heard over time. So I'm just trying to tell you, man, when I'm talking, a lot of times I've been finding myself undoing a lot of what I've been taught, a lot of things that have been spoon fed to me over the years. And I'm talking now, mind
It's a
you,
lot of years.
it's been a lot. It's been a lot, and a lot of times that I've had to go back and say, why do I believe that? Why have I been doing this? Is this a religious practice, or is this something that I feel is beneficial for me spiritually and my walk with God? Okay, is it helping my overall life? Is it beneficial to my life? Is it something that really gives me, um, makes me feel like I'm doing, it's causing me to be closer to God in some capacity? Or is it just making me feel morally good? Because the reality is that a lot of what we were taught just makes us feel good as people,
Yes.
but has very little to do with
That's more
our
feel good
relationship with God.
and look good before people.
Yeah. And so I think a lot of what it is that, what we do, you do, because I know I'm not the only one who basically has a church background or a religious background. I'm sure some of you that are watching right now as well do also. You know what I discovered when I was even a little kid? I noticed the kids who didn't grow up in church versus the kids who did. Now, this is no indictment on any of us who grew up in church, but there was a different level of freedom that those kids that did not grow up in church had that we did not have when we were growing up, because there was a strict. Now I know these kids and some of y'all that's watching now don't know what I'm talking about, because this generation ain't in church but twice a week, maybe twice, maybe once. Y'all go for Bible study and y'all go for Sunday morning. That's all y'all got in you. You
can't go no more than that.
You couldn't have survived
the revivals
back in them days when you had to go Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday for something during the day for the kids and the youth, and then Sunday morning, and then 3 o'clock on Sunday, then 6 and 7 o'clock Sunday night. Oh, y'all wouldn't have made it at all in those days.
They barely can make it through a Sunday morning service.
Now some who I know I grew up going to church with that much can't do it like that no more. And I get it. I understand. You kind of like Tamla Mann when she say I'm all churched out.
Okay.
I get it. I understand. We were churched out. We were drugged. And I mean, the drug mean drug the church. It was one of those deals where we just knew that's where we were going. It was no ifs, ands, or buts about it. We didn't wonder. Ready. We didn't have to wonder. We didn't have to try to figure out when we was going to go. We didn't have vacation plans. We didn't think we was going to be going somewhere across country to do this, that, and the other.
No, the only vacation plan you had was Vacation Bible School.
Vacation Bible School was your vacation, was your summertime plan. It was no going out of town to Hawaii or going to the cruise or any of that kind of stuff.
Going to stay with your aunts and uncles for a month.
Now, if I did, I stayed with my aunts and uncles.
You did?
But my aunts and uncles were pastors. So I was still going to church. You know what I'm saying? So it's still a situation where I still was just indoctrinated with that religion and those religious mindsets every single week of my life, which caused in some ways, when I started becoming a teenager and getting some level of freedom or ability to think on my own, it caused me to stray a little bit and do what I wanted to do, and felt like I could do it because, heck, man, look, I've been in church all this time. Yeah. Don't that count for something? I can kind of get out here and do a little something. So, as I started getting a little older and getting in my teen years and my later teen years, and especially after I graduated from high school, it was like, oh, I'm going to do me. And I think a lot of church kids do that. When they get a little older and they get a little freedom, they kind of start testing the waters because they were not allowed to in their younger years. And this is why I come back to the freedom that those kids had that did not have that type of upbringing was quite interesting to me. It was intriguing to me. Because in my mind, I was like, well, how y'all having a good time, but y'all headed to hell? Because y'all don't go to church. Y'all don't go to church. Y'all don't fast. Y'all don't pray. Y'all don't speak in tongues. Y'all don't dance around the church. Y'all don't do none of that. Y'all don't go to Bible study. Y'all don't, and y'all happy? And y'all having barbecues, and y'all going and traveling and having vacations as a family, and y'all going out doing all this other kind of stuff. When your daddy out here drinking, and they out here smoking, and this, that, and other. Cause I'm coming by to play basketball.
Okay.
And I see it all. And I see your parents doing all that. You come to my house, you see a big old Bible. The first thing you see, you come through my house, is a huge Bible and Martin Luther King with a white Jesus on the wall. Okay, so I'm just saying, it was amazing the contrast that I experienced in young age. That I'm speaking to people who are on this live right now, who are thinking about their background and realizing, man, mine was kind of similar as well. If you grew up in church, you grew up kind of envying your friends that did not have to go to church all the time. Yeah. You grew up envying the friends and wishing your parents were like their parents, and saying, well, mama, such and such, they let their kids go to the movies, or they let their kids go to this party, and they let their kids go to this get together or this person's house, and we just couldn't do it. Because if my mama knew your parents was doing something that wasn't according to the word of God,
you couldn't go back over there no more.
Go over there. You can't. You can't do that. That's not. No. You're not going to go over there.
Going to hell.
No. Yeah. You're not going to. Now, mind you, and my mom, still to this day, is an extremely open-minded woman, but she herself was indoctrinated in a lot of the religious practices that she grew up with. Right. So, of course, she's going to pass that down to me, right, which is what has happened in a lot of cases. And so what I'm saying is that there had seemed to be a lot of freedom that was given, and they had. It was almost like they knew something we didn't know. You know what I'm saying? They were experiencing something that we didn't get to experience. It wasn't until later on in my life I've had some ups and downs, some hiccups, some mistakes, some failures, right, some downfalls, and all that kind of stuff, when I realized the only thing that kept me was what I grew up and the foundation of what was instilled in me. So what I despised, dreaded, I almost went against it, is what kept me in the long run. Yep. Not religion, not the church practices, but just realizing that there was a God that could and can keep you, heal you, deliver you, set you free. And it didn't look like what these preachers or sometimes these evangelists told me it would look like. Exactly. Because in our minds, it should look this way. That's what we grew up believing.
And that was the only way.
You get up there, you get delivered, you start foaming from the mouth, you say, think you, and all that, then you got it. Oh, you got it. And I realized I didn't get it that way.
Didn't get it that way at all.
It didn't happen for me that way. I'm not saying it can't happen that way.
It didn't happen for me. No.
And I need you to understand that if you're not careful, even to this day, you will allow the opinions of others and the religious practices that you have heard for so long to try to determine whether or not you actually have a real relationship with God, number one, or that you're even delivered, set free from those things that used to bind you up, just because you didn't get up there and start throwing up from the mouth and doing all this other stuff, as if God has a one way to do any of it.
Right. And if we're not careful, we'll find ourselves judging other people in the same manner.
Exactly. And so I'm saying to you all, what I grew up despising after a time, and even tried to walk away from, is what kept me even in the times when it was my darkest. Yes. Not church. I want to make sure I make that clear. But it was really understanding God for myself.
Yes.
But it was me believing that I had a foundation from the start. Now, some, not all, but some of those people that had that kind of freedom back then and didn't have the foundation that I had, and some of us had growing up in church as much as we did, it was a little difficult for them when they hit some rough spots.
Yeah.
Some committed suicide.
Yes.
Some got strung out on drugs, alcohol, crack. Some just totally just spazzed out altogether, and just they end up. I know some people who was eventually in mental institutions. Now, that's not to say that people who grew up in church ain't in that position either. Don't get me wrong. I'm saying when you have a foundation where God is the foundation,
yes,
you tend to realize that there is something greater that's in you that won't let you give up, won't let you quit. It won't let you throw in the towel.
Yes.
And guess what? Those people who feel and think that way ain't always the ones that's speaking in tongues, running around the church.
Yes.
And once again, I love that. I love all of it. I love all of it. I grew up with it. I love it all. I love the speaking in tongues. I love the shouting, the dancing. I love our Black culture expression of God and church. I love that. That is, I believe we have the greatest expression of how we express to God our praise, our adoration, our gratitude. I believe I just believe we do.
Yeah,
ain't nothing
nobody
like
touched the Black church.
Ain't nothing like the Black church. But the other part of that is ain't nothing like the Black church.
Period.
Period. The Black church, as great as it is, it has been for decades and generations. It has really hurt people.
Yes.
What I mean by that is it has caused people to really feel like what I have don't measure up to what you say I need in order for it to be what you say the standard is. And I'm saying, man, woo! If the standard by which they were measuring back when I was younger is the standard, it's a lot of us who grew up in church who ain't there. We ain't got it.
We have not arrived.
And I think, I say that, and I'm not saying that in a facetious way. I'm not trying to even be funny. I'm saying that you got to be very careful. You got to be very careful how you measure somebody else's relationship, not their religion, relationship. Okay, because the reality is that I don't care, and I mean this. As close as Kim is to her son and her daughter, as close as Kim is to her children, I'm saying to you, when it comes to anybody else coming into their life, and when it comes to anybody else who enters in it, whether it's a friend, boyfriend, girlfriend, whatever it may be, nothing touches the relationship she has with them. Nothing. Nothing. Not even a disagreement. Not even a misunderstanding. Not even a downfall. Not even them being upset with one doesn't mess with the relationship that they have with one another. And I thought that my relationship with God was based on if, in fact, I was good that day, I was doing the things that they told me I should do.
Should be doing.
And if I didn't, I thought, I ain't got it today. Which is why I was on the altar.
Every day.
Because my relationship, I thought, was based on if I made a mistake.
Actions.
Or if I did it right.
Right.
And if you look at someone else and you measure their life and their mistakes and their failures, and you say that's the basis of if they got a good relationship with God, or if they have a relationship at all with Him, you're going to miss it.
You're going to measure wrong.
Because there's nobody in the Bible who got called who didn't mess up, make a mistake, didn't have a downfall, didn't have a setback, didn't have a proclivity.
Or even a thought.
Nobody that I'm looking at, that I'm reading in the Bible, did they not have something that we know that if we were basing it on our religious beliefs, we wouldn't call them. We wouldn't say they were anointed. No. You mean to tell me you're going to call Moses anointed and he can kill people? He killed somebody.
Yeah.
No, wait a minute.
Or David.
Biblically, we only see where he killed somebody in defense of the Hebrew people. We only see that him, but he killed somebody. And in today's generation, in today's society, who's calling a killer anointed? I want somebody to put that in the comments. Who called Jeffrey Dahmer anointed? Did y'all call? Y'all didn't even call OJ. Well, I was going to say OJ Simpson.
You was. You was about to say OJ.
Rest in peace, OJ. I'm sorry. I mean, I ain't mean to use that as an example like that. I apologize. Let me go ahead and set that back.
Rewind.
Oh.
That went just slid through.
Who calls a murderer anointed?
They call David anointed.
They call David anointed. If I know that you have openly been committing adultery, I'm gonna call you anointed. Yeah. I'm saying to you, I could go on and on. My point in all this is, if in fact we are basing the standard by which people are saved, anointed, chosen, special, all that are based on their failures, their errors, their faults, we might miss it. I'm not saying we did. I'm just saying we might. It might be a piece where we might have missed it. If in fact within yourself, if you feel the need to judge, to do that is fine.
But you know, there's a scripture that says that whom God has called, whom God has anointed. In other words, who are you to say that he's not?
I think the goal for any of us is to make sure that we do a self-examination of me and really discover what a relationship really looks like. What does that look like? What does my relationship look like?
And that's what we should be focused on, what my relationship.
And I'm not even saying that we don't have something to say about somebody else's downfall, mistakes, this, that, and other.
Well, we do, because we're people.
People are gonna say what they're gonna say. I get it. I'm not saying that, that's right or wrong or whatever, because if that's the case, we've all been wrong at some point. Because all of us have said something about somebody's downfall.
Because we always act like we're shocked by things that people are doing or have done.
Right.
And it's nothing new.
Right.
It's just a different face.
Right. I'm just saying to you, if going to church every day like we did was the standard, then today most Christians don't have the Holy Ghost.
Don't.
They ain't saved. They don't know Jesus.
Because a lot of people are online members nowadays.
I mean, if the standard by which you are having a relationship with God is based on what you look, because when I was growing up, you had to dress up for church.
Okay, you better not come in there with no jeans with holes in it.
You had church clothes.
Okay.
Nothing that you wore outside to play basketball, football, whatever you play,
Lady
or
had
going
ladies
to
had dresses on,
yeah, you know what I'm saying.
stockings.
You know, none of that stuff that you wear for parties or gatherings or get-togethers did you bring into the church. Even sinners, those who didn't know God, knew when you come to church, you don't come to church looking any kind of way. You can be drunk as a skunk.
You gonna put
You
the
can
clothes
be tore
on
up from
and
the
get in there.
floor up. But you're gonna put some clothes and take your hat off
Woo.
when you get in the church.
They don't take hats off no
In
more.
the church now,
Mm-mm.
you sing with your hat on. You worship with your hat on. You preach with your hat on.
Come on.
And I'm saying to you, if that was the basis and the standard by which we judge whether or not somebody has a relationship, ooh, we falling short. That's a great falling away. If that's the case.
Yeah.
And I'm saying there is a great falling away.
It is.
Well, I am saying to you, be careful. Be careful how you base somebody else's relationship with God.
Yes.
Be careful. Be careful. And I don't know about you, but in this day and time, knowing that I've had to learn or unlearn some stuff and relearn some stuff,
Woo, Lord, and still
you start to realize, let me focus on
me.
my relationship and my walk, and you know, because I ain't got all together. Because it's some stuff that if you truly allow yourself to be exposed,
Yes.
that you still do, that you probably shouldn't do.
No.
But you still call yourself anointed.
Yes.
You still call yourself saved,
Called by
sanctified,
God.
filled with the Holy
Yeah.
Ghost, with a mighty burning
Come
fire.
on.
I'm saying that you call yourself that.
Yes.
Yes. And you do some stuff
Or you allow some other people to call you that. No, there's some things in you
that you do.
that you do.
Or do. And do.
And still do.
And it's because we're all in process.
That's it.
It's not to say that you stay in process, but you're in process.
In process.
To come out in
Believing
process.
that you're coming out of it.
Yeah, coming out of something, but you don't stay in it.
And saying that God is working on me.
When I was growing up, I was Pentecostal. So I would go to Baptist churches because I had some uncles who were Baptists, and I would go to some of the Baptist churches. Baptist churches in my day when I was little had smoking sections.
Did.
So you can go out, you can go to the right, there's a tree right there,
Yeah.
or in the parking lot in that certain area. It was a smoking area.
Back away from the
back
building.
near the trees.
Yes.
And it's a smoke. I, being Pentecostal, Hika Messiah and all that kind of stuff, we don't do that.
Okay.
We don't do dip, we don't smoke, we don't chew, we don't do none of that. You know what I'm saying? Because
you better not deal with anybody that did it.
No. I'm seeing that and I'm saying, wait a minute. And they can smoke and be talking about the goodness of God.
And them deacons will pray the house down.
Ooh, nigga, when I tell you they lungs was black as some brisket.
The smoke brisket.
Man, I tell you them lungs was smoked out.
Smoker's talk.
Ooh, good Lord. I mean, it was smoked better than any brisket you could ever put on a grill. And I'm saying, that ain't funny, but it's so true. God, that's so true. Because that was their perception, which was my relationship with God ain't based on whether I'm smoking. You know what I'm saying? Whether I get a little drink here and there or not. It ain't based on that. My relationship is from the heart. It's based on the heart.
Based on the heart.
You know what I'm saying? And so it took me unlearning some stuff and then having to relearn some stuff through the word of God that made me realize, oh, there was some theological basis to some of that. Now, they weren't trying to get rid of it. They were content. Okay, they weren't even thinking about it. Matter of fact, the more you smoke, I think that's how you was ranked as a deacon. You was a good old trustee. You
Don't
trained
meet me by the tree, honey.
Okay, I'm sorry, Baptist people. I don't mean to do that to you like that. I love Baptist people. I do. I really do. My point is, in saying all that is, you got to be very careful how you base someone else's relationship
Yes.
and make it seem as whether or not they are saved or delivered or
Right.
set free or whatever it may be.
Because a lot of times we don't know people's process.
That's right.
You know what I mean? They could have been smoking a pack of cigarettes and now they're down to 2 cigarettes a day.
Mm-hmm.
That's
That's right.
process.
That's right.
And
Yeah.
that's progress.
That's right.
So, you know,
That's
it was the church that I grew up in that now, as I've gotten older, like you said, having to relearn a lot of things.
Mm-hmm.
That's where I'm at.
Yeah.
Not getting rid of everything,
Yeah.
but being more practical about
Right.
what it was that we were taught.
Yeah. It's amazing, you know, but we just having a conversation. And, you know, that's what we do here on Intentional Tuesday. Every time we get together, we try to have a conversation that's kind of relatable, that's down on a level where anyone who is watching can relate to it, but also actually be able to learn something from it. This is the closing thing I want to end with, and we'll go ahead and leave from here and go into making sure that we are prepared for the next time we are to be on Intentional Tuesday. I want to say this to somebody. Don't you allow anyone to talk you out of believing whatever God has done for you.
Yes.
Whatever that may be. Only you would know. You know, we see signs of it. You know what I'm saying? It's like if someone comes into the church and they were extremely, you know, introverted and very closed and isolated. And then all of a sudden, months later, you start seeing them getting more ingrained and indoctrinated into the system of church and connecting with people and speaking to people. You don't know what it took for them to go from not wanting to speak to anybody to all of a sudden now they actually smiling and shaking your hand and saying, hey, you know, how you doing? You know, God bless you. All that kind of stuff is something that's process.
Yes.
But that's something that God has to do.
Yes.
And you realize that every time you start allowing God to just chip one chip at a time,
Yes.
one chip at a time, one chip at a time. You know, I've seen people who used to cuss folk out every single day. You couldn't look at them a certain type of way and they was going to cuss you out.
Wow.
And I've seen them go from that. Now, they ain't stop cussing, but at least it's a situation where they show more grace now.
Yes.
And there has been a less amount. Dialogue is not all, you know, this, that, and other. Every other word is a bleep. You know, it's not that. And I'm saying to you, it's a chip.
Yes.
Just one chip at a time. And what some of us do as Christians is we judge your process of where you are now.
Right.
And we don't try to see where you came from and more importantly, where you can be.
Right. And don't look at the fact that someone has been in church all their life and they should be further along than where they're at. That's not for you to judge where people should be at.
Just please make sure, y'all, that you don't let nobody sit up here and tell you that you don't have a relationship with God because of something that you're doing currently that you know you're putting in God's hand to wipe away indefinitely.
Come on.
Completely.
And you don't even know how God is still using that thing to help somebody else.
Right. Yeah.
Because somebody can see you doing something, but they can also see how much you really love God as well.
And that's true, because there are some people that I know, you know, used to be very much so club goers, going to the club all the time. And maybe they frequented every night, a different club every night. But now it's their verbiage when they go to the club is different now. It's almost like now it's not about a turn up. It's about maybe I'm meeting somebody to cause them to see something differently. And then what you start realizing is the desire to even be in that kind of setting, in those types of settings, tend to kind of start to wane, to lessen, because you start getting another passion, another desire. God can truly change or exchange desires for you. What was once something that you felt you couldn't live without, God will show you. You can't live without me.
Yep.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Something that you felt you had to live with, and something that you felt like it was just a part of who you were. You said stuff like, that's just who I am.
Woo.
God will show you. No. That's not how that works. That's not who you are.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? He said he can make you a new creature. Old things
Passed away.
can be passed away, and all things
Become new.
can become new.
Yes.
So he can make you a new creation. You're not what you used to be. You're not even what you are now.
Yes.
You will ultimately be what God has purposed you to be. Now, let me tell you what's crazy, and I'll leave it alone here. You're already that in the spirit.
Woo.
And ultimately, if you just keep believing and keep working at it, it'll manifest.
Yes.
That you,
Have to catch up in the
that
spirit.
God has already purposed, it'll manifest.
Mm-hmm.
Don't let nobody persuade you to think anything otherwise. You are who God has purposed you to be. And if you just keep giving it to God, whatever that thing is, whatever those issues may be, whatever those proclivities may be, whatever those things that you find yourself doing here and there may be, just keep giving it to him. Keep giving it to him. Keep on. Make it a practice. And I promise you, you'll see something in you next week that you didn't see in yourself today.
Right.
And then a month from now, you'll see something again, completely different that you didn't see a month ago. It's a process.
And others will see it too.
Others will see it, but you need to make sure you do it for you.
Yes.
And I want you to understand that. So we're about to go. You got any other closing words?
No. Just glad to see the people again.
Yeah, it's good to see everyone. And prayerfully, like I said, I hope you've had an amazing month of April. We'll be on every Tuesday night at 9 p.m. Central Standard Time. That's 10 p.m. Eastern. That's like 7 p.m. on the Pacific, and all the other time zones and all that kind of stuff. Yes, all that. So Mountain and all that kind of stuff. But anyway, y'all keep us in prayer, and we definitely keep you in prayer. And I just believe God is about to do some amazing things. Eyes have not seen, ears have not heard, neither has it entered into the hearts of men. All the amazing things God has in store for us, you and me included. And I just believe that the best is yet to come. And so you haven't seen the best of what God wants to do. This year can't end without God making good on everything that he said he would do.
Yes.
Okay? And so
the man that he shall not lie.
He won't lie. And so y'all be blessed. I love y'all. I appreciate you all. And more importantly, man, I look forward to seeing you all next week.
Next Tuesday.
Next Tuesday.
All right. Good
all
night.
Right. Good night. Love y'all.